Welcome to the part 5 of the Pitman Shorthand course. In this video, we are going to have a look at writing a word. So there are 3 steps that you have to follow in order to write any word in Pitman Shorthand. So the first step is check vowel sound, which means that you have to check that what is the first vowel sound that you are getting from a particular word. Second step is check position of outline, which means that you have to check that where you will be making the first outline for a particular word. Third and the last step is check vowel place, which means that you have to check that where you will be putting the vowel on a particular stroke or on a particular curve. So now let's get into this practically. Alright, so the first word that we are going to take is palm. Now if you remember from the previous part, in the previous part also we took the same word palm and we saw that how to make the first outline for this word, but we did not see that how to make the complete word palm. So in this part we are gonna be looking at how to actually make the complete word palm, and of course we're gonna be taking some examples. Okay, so as we already know that we have to follow these 3 steps to make any word in Pitman Shorthand. So let's follow these 3 steps. So the first step says check vowel sound. So we have to check that what is the first vowel sound that we are getting from this word palm. So for that, let's pronounce this word once again. It goes like palm. So the first vowel sound that we are getting is ah, which is same as pa vowel. Now let's see what is the second step. Second step says check position of outline. So now as we already know that the first vowel sound determines the position of the outline for any word. So as we can see, this is our word pa vowel. This is our pa vowel. So this pa vowel says above the line, which means that the first outline that we are going to be making for this word palm, we're going to be making that outline from above the line. Okay, so now let's see what is the third step. Third step says check vowel place. So we have to check that what is the vowel place. So as this vowel says, this pa vowel says number 1, which means on the first place. All right, so until now we have done these 3 steps. So now let's see how we're going to be actually making this word palm. Okay, so for that we have to break this word palm into consonants and vowels. So let's see what is the first thing that we are getting from this word palm. We have this P, which is a consonant. We have this P consonant, a consonant, and then we have this A vowel, or you can say pa vowel, which is a vowel, and then we have this L and M, but we won't be taking both of these, because if we pronounce this word it goes like palm, so we are just getting the M sound because L is silent here, so we will just take the M. We won't be taking the L consonant. So now just take the M consonant or M curve. This is a consonant. All right, so now we have to, in order to make this palm word, we have to convert these into Pitman Shorthand. So first word, so the first one is P, which is a consonant and a light stroke. So let's make this P, and where we're gonna be putting the first outline, of course, from above the line, because as this pa vowel says. So let's make the P outline above the line like this. Okay, so we have done making the P outline. Now let's see what is the second character. We have this A vowel. All right, so now let's put the vowel. Okay, and where we're gonna be putting the vowel, as we already saw that on the first place. All right, so we're gonna be putting the vowel in the first place. Now the question is where we're gonna be putting, whether before or after. And the solution for this is we have to pronounce the sound that we are getting is palm. All right, so the A sound is, the A vowel sound is after this P. All right, so this is our P, and of course we have to put the vowel now. So we are getting the A vowel, we are getting the A sound after this P. So that's why we will be putting the A vowel after this P on the first place like this. Right, if we had the vowel A before, before the P, alright, if we have the vowel before this P, then we would have been making both of these like this, then we would have been putting the vowel before this P, right? So because this is our word palm, so we are getting the A sound after the P consonant, so that's why we just put the A vowel after the P, right, on the first place. Now we are done with this P and this A vowel. Now we are left with this M curve. So, and what we will be doing now, we will be simply attaching this M curve with this P like this. Alright, so this is our overall word palm. Now what we did here, we first made this P consonant, then we put the vowel, and then we attached this M. Now if you carefully see what's going on here, we have to first make this P, then we have to lift our pen or pencil to put our vowel over here, alright? Then we again have to lift our pen or pencil to attach the M curve like this. So usually this is the wrong method because it takes time. So you also have to remember one thing, or you can say one rule here. You always have to put the vowel in the end, which means that when you are completely done with making all the strokes or all the curves for any word, and your last job is putting the vowel, putting the vowel for any word is your last job, alright, is your last work. So instead of making like this is, you can say, the wrong way. Instead of making the palm word like this, we will be making the palm word like this. So you saw what happened here. Here we first made this P and M, and then in the end we put the vowel like this. But here we first made this P, then we lifted our pen and then a pen or pencil, then we put the vowel, then we again lifted our pen or pencil to attach the M curve like this. Alright, so this is the wrong way and that's the right way. So once again I'll repeat it. You always have to put the vowel in the end. When you have any word in Pitman Shorthand and you have to make that word in Pitman Shorthand, first of all make all the curves and strokes, alright? And then in the end, your last job is putting the vowel is your last job. You always have to put the vowel in the end when you are completely done with making the strokes and curves for any word. Alright, so that's how you make the word palm. Now let's take more examples. So our next word is, you can say, May. May is our next word. So again we will follow the same steps. First of all, check the vowel sound. If we pronounce this word, it goes like May. So the first vowel sound is A, and A is similar to this May vowel. Now let's see what is the position of the outline. It says on the line. Alright, so the first outline we'll start making it from on the line. Now last step is check vowel place. So this vowel May vowel says on the second place. Alright, now so let's make this word. First of all, let's break it. First we have this M consonant, then we have this A vowel, then we have this Y, but we won't be taking Y because we just have to focus on the sound, not on the characters. We have to focus on the sound. So the sound that we are getting is just M and just A. So we'll just convert these into Pitman Shorthand. Okay, so how we're gonna be making it? First let's make M curve, then and on the we made this on the line because as this symbol says on the line. Now we're done making this M curve, or you can say M consonant. Now we're left with just this A vowel. So how is A vowel made? We use a dark dot on the second place to represent our A vowel, because as you can see here we have a dark dot and this one says on the second place. So let's put it over here. Right, now why we put it over here, why we did not put over here? Because the A sound is after. All right, the A vowel is after the M. Suppose if we had a word called aim, then we would have been making this word like this, and then we would have been putting the vowel over here, because first we are getting this A sound, or you can say we are getting this A vowel before this M. So that's why we put this dark dot, this vowel before M for this word aim, and for this word may we put the vowel after this M, because A sound is after this M. So you have to keep this thing also in your mind. Alright, so that's how you make the may word. So now let's take more examples. Now we have this word called beat. Okay, first check the vowel sound. Beat, first vowel sound that we are getting is E, which is as in this vowel V. Now let's check the position of outline. It says this through the line, because the first vowel sound determines the position of the outline. So this says through the line. Okay, now the vowel place is third place. Okay, so now let's make this word. Let's break it. First of all, we have this B consonant, then we have this E vowel, or you can say V vowel, then we finally have this T, which is a consonant. Okay, so now let's make this word beat. So first of all, B, we're gonna be making the B outline, and where? Through the line, because as we can see here. Okay, so B, a dark stroke, then we have this E vowel. So we won't be making first our E vowel now, because as the rule says, we always have to put the vowel in the end when we are completely done with making the strokes and curves for any word. So we'll skip for a moment. We'll skip this E vowel for a moment, and we'll proceed towards T. So let's attach this T like this, which is a light stroke. Till now this is B and T, and to get the vowel of E, to get the sound of E, we have to put the vowel E, and E is represented by a dark dot on the third place, as you can see here. So, and where we're gonna be putting the E vowel, whether before or after. So now let's pronounce this again, beat. So the E vowel sound is that we are getting the E vowel after this B. So that's why we will put it after the B, like this. Alright, but this is not the right way, because now you might be wondering why this is not correct. So let me introduce you to a new rule. So just pay close attention. Whenever you have to put the vowel on the third place, and any other stroke or any other curve has to be added, then that vowel will be transferred to that next stroke or next curve. So which means that we had this vowel on the third place. So instead of putting over here, we will simply transfer it over here, because we had this extra stroke over here. And the rule says whenever we have to put the vowel on the third place, and any other stroke or curve has to be added with it, or has to be attached with that stroke or curve, then that vowel will be transferred to that next stroke or next curve. So instead of making like this is a wrong way. We will simply making the beat word like this. Alright, so you saw what we did here. We just transferred the vowel from here to here, because we have to add this T stroke also after this stroke B. So this is the rule, and you also have to remember this rule every time whenever you are making any word in Pitman Shorthand, and that's how you make the beat word. So now let's take another example. We have the word called awful. So now let's see what's the first vowel sound. Awful. So the aw sound is the first vowel sound that we are getting from this word, which is same as in all vowel. Okay, so and now let's see what is the position of outline. So this all vowel says above the line, because the first vowel sound determines the position of outline. So that's why we'll be taking this above the line position of outline. Okay, now the third step is vowel sound. check vowel place. So the vowel place is on the first place. All right, so now let's make this word. First of all, we have this o vowel, you can say all vowel. Then we have this f, then we have this u sound, which is, you can say u vowel, same as in good vowel. All right, then we finally have this l. Okay, so now let's put it all together to make our final word awful. So as we know that we put the vowel always in the end, so first of all we will skip this vowel. Let's skip it and let's just proceed to f. So we will make the f, and where we will be making the f? Of course above the line, because as you can see here, this all vowel says above the line. So let's make the f above the line like this. Okay, we have done making this f curve. Now we have this vowel, this u vowel, so we'll skip it because we put the vowel always in the end. So let's proceed to this l. So let's attach this l like this. All right, so now we are done making with all the strokes and all the curves. Now we are left with just the vowels. So let's first of all put this vowel o, and we will put the o vowel over here. And so o vowel is represented by this dark dash. All right, on the first place. So we will simply put the dark dash like this, and then we are left with this u vowel. Okay, and we use a light dash on the third place to represent our good vowel. Okay, so instead of putting it over here, we will transfer it over here like this. Okay, because we know that we have to put the vowel on the third place, and this extra curve has to be added. So as a rule says that whenever we have to put the vowel on the third place and any other stroke or curve has to be added with that stroke or curve, then that vowel will be transferred to the next stroke or curve. So let's that's a little bit messy. Let's make this final awful word again. Alright, so that's our dark dash to represent our all vowel, and then that's our f, and then that's our light dash to represent our good vowel. Then we finally have this l. Okay, this is our f, this is our good vowel. Then we finally have this l. That's how you make the awful word. So now let's take another example. Suppose we have a word called boat. Alright, so first vowel sound is O, because if you pronounce it go like boat, so the first vowel sound is O, which is same as in go. So the go vowel has this, the position of the outline is on the line and the vowel is on the second place. So now let's break it. First of all, we have this B, then we have this O vowel, or you can say go vowel, then you finally have this T, and this A is silent because we just get the sound of a boat, so we're just getting the sound of B, O and T. Alright, so we won't be taking the A here. So let's now make this. We're gonna be making this B stroke, which is a dark stroke, and on the line like this, and then attaching it T like this, and then putting the vowel on the second place, which is a dark stroke like this. Alright, so let's see this again. First we made this B, and we made this B outline on the line, because here you can see it says on the line by this symbol. Then we attached this T because we had this T here, and then we finally put the vowel in the end, this dark stroke on the second place. Let's make this again like this. Alright, this is a dark stroke, this is a vowel which is a dark dash, and this is our light stroke, which is our T. Okay, so that's how you make the word boat. Now let's take another example. So because we have to cover all these vowels, so we have to take examples till we are done with all these vowels. All right, So next word is our shoot. Shoot. So let's pronounce it, goes like shoot. So first vowel sound is oo, and oo is similar as do. So what's the position of outline? This is through the line, and the vowel place is on the third place. So now let's make this word shoot. So shoot. So first we have this ish curve, which is a consonant. This is a consonant. Then we have this to vowel, alright, which is a vowel, and then we finally have this T, which is a consonant again. So now let's put it all together to make our final word shoot. Alright, so how we use a curve like this to represent our ish consonant. Okay, and so now let's make this word. Alright, so see what happened here. First we have this ish, then we have this T, which is a light stroke, then we have this vowel, which is oo, which is a dark stroke on the third place. So instead of putting the vowel over here, we transferred it over here, because as a rule says, whenever we have to put the vowel on the third place and any other stroke or curve has to be added with that stroke or curve, then that vowel will be transferred to that next stroke or curve. Okay, so that's why we transferred it to over here. So now that's how you make the word shoot. So now let's take another example, like a word called bat. So now let's do a little bit quick, because till now I have been explaining it because just so that you can understand it better. But usually when you will be making these words, you will be making it a little bit quick, because as we know that stenography is the word of speed, and if you don't have the speed in writing, then you can't become a professional stenographer. Okay, so the bat. So first of all, a vowel sound. The first vowel sound is a, which is same as in that, which says on the first place, and the vowel is on the line. So let's make this word bat. Bat. All right. So what happened here? First we have this B, which is a dark stroke. Then we have this T, which is a light stroke, and then we have this this light dot on the first place, because as you can see here, we use a light dot on the first place to represent our that vowel. Okay, so that's how you make the word bat. Let's take another word like ben. So let's do it quickly. We have this, if you pronounce this word, it goes like ben. So the first vowel is a as in pen, and the outline is on the line and the vowel is on the second place. So ben will be made like this. Alright, so this is our B. Then we have this light dot on the second place to represent our a vowel. Right, and then we have attached this N curve. So this is our word ben. Okay, and we started making this this B stroke on the line, because as you can see here, it says on the line, because the first vowel sound determines the position of the outline, and the first vowel is pen. Okay, so that's how we make the word ben. Let's take another example, like rich. So let's pronounce it, goes like rich. So E vowel is the first vowel, which is similar to this, and the position of the outline is through the line, and we have the third place, the vowel on the third place. So now let's make this word rich. It will be made like this. Alright, so this is our R character, or you can say the R consonant. Alright, and this is our J consonant, and then we put the vowel on the third place. So instead of putting the vowel like here, because as a rule says, whenever you have to put the vowel on the third place and any other stroke or curve has to be added with that stroke or curve, then that vowel will be transferred to that next stroke or curve. So that's why we transferred it from here to here. Okay, so that's our word rich. And we made the we made the R consonant through the line, because as you can see here it says through the line. So that's how you make the word rich. Let's take another example, like a word called rod. So let's pronounce it, goes like rod. So the first vowel sound is aw. Aw as in not, and it says above the line, the position will be above the line, position of the outline will be above the line, and the vowel will be on the first place. So now let's make this word rod like this. Okay, so first we have this R consonant, and then we have this D, and then we finally put the vowel on the first place, a light dash on the first place, which represent our not sound. You can say not vowel. So that's how you make the rod word. Let's take another example, like the word called touch. So if you pronounce this word, it goes like touch. So just focus on the sound. The first vowel sound that we are getting is a, which is this one. All right, don't focus on the characters, just focus on the sound. Touch, we are getting the a sound, which is as in much vowel, and this says on the line, and the vowel is on the second place. So now let's make this word touch. It will be made like this, and of course we'll put the vowel in the end, so on the second place, because you can see here it says second place. And we made the light dash, because light dash on the second place is used to represent our a vowel, or you can say the much vowel. All right, and we made this T on the second, on the line, because here you can see it says on the line. That's how you make the word touch. Let's take another word called shook. All right, shook. Let's pronounce this word again. It goes like shook. So just focus on the sound. Oo. First vowel sound is oo, as in good. All right, and this one says through the line, and the vowel is on the third place. So now let's make this word shook like this. Okay, so this is our word ish. This is our consonant ish, because we make a light curve like this to represent our ish consonant, and then we have this light stroke, which is K consonant, a lying light stroke that represent K consonant, and then we finally put this vowel in the end, which is a light dash on the third place, which represent our good vowel. So that's how you make the word shook. So we took so many examples, because we have all these 12 vowels over here. So that's how you make any word in Pitman Shorthand. All right, so that's all for this part, and I'll see you in the next part.